Ghost is a Siberian Husky, and so all of this gear is obviously tailored toward a Husky. Huskies are a little different than other dogs in that they're working dogs. They like to pull, they pull hard, so your gear has to be able to withstand that pulling. The harnesses around your waist have to be comfortable enough to allow for a dog to pull, and all of the gear has to be a little bit more robust. And he likes to chew. Any dog can use this gear, but this is the stuff that we've had to get for him specifically. Our first piece of gear is Ghost Palisades pack, and we swapped this pack out to the Palisades pack because of our North Over Ridge trip, where the ridge was too skinny for Ghost to get around with his pack on, and the harness that he had on was also from Ruffwear, and it didn't have a removable pack. It would have been so nice to just take the pack off and let him go along the ridge without a pack on, and I could have just thrown the pack on my pack and attached it to mine. But we didn't have that option at the time, but we want to make sure that we have that option from now on. We'll do a full separate review of this Palisades pack, but just some really quick things that we like about it is it's obviously quite large and it fits all his stuff. And this harness here has a lot of padding on it so it doesn't chafe him at all. And it's also got some really nice hardware that doesn't break. You can see that this top hook that we hook the leash on is all metal. And there's another one on the back that's super beefy. This harness is really, really great. I love the harness, honestly, more than I love the pack. I don't like that the pack has zippered tops. I'd really like a roll down pack. So we're gonna be trying a roll down pack for 2023, but we're gonna keep this one, you know, just in case the other one doesn't work out. So far, it's been really great for us, and we'll see how it does for 2023. Our favorite dog tent. It's an Alcott tent from Amazon. It folds up super light and small, and we just strap the poles to the top of Ghost pack, and the tent fits right inside his backpack with all of his other backpacking gear. And this tent fits right inside the vestibule of our 4-man Big Agnes tent. And we tie his leash to a tree outside, and he sleeps inside this tent. And this prevents him from trying to get through our screen and ripping up our tent when he sees an animal or hears an animal outside. He can just go out on his very short leash and investigate, but mostly he's so comfy cozy in here, he just sleeps like the dead and doesn't even wake up for the whole night. You can go in there, buddy. There's Ghost. He goes absolutely everywhere with me, and he's like my shadow, hence the name Ghost. You want to go in there? Go in there and show everybody how much you like it. Go in your bed. Go to bed. Go in your bed. Good boy. Doesn't want to stay in there right now. Say hi, Ghost. Our favorite dog light is the Ruffwear light. This has a little clip on the side that's like a tiny kind of keychain type clip. We've used this and it's actually come apart and broke. So the better clip is the back clip that just clips nicely onto all of their packs. You can see it's got a back clip here. And this is the only light that has actually lasted for more than maybe one hike at a time. We've tried so many lights and my dog just destroys them. So this light is great. My dog is looking at me because I keep saying his name. For Ghost food, we basically just go to the pet store and we get whatever freeze-dried food is on sale. Ghost is not a picky dog and he doesn't have a tummy that gets upset. So whatever freeze-dried puckets or freeze-dried kernels are the cheapest at the time is what we got. We make sure that we give him a little bit more than the specified amount on the package, because when we're backpacking, we go for rather long distances, between 8 to about 16 kilometers a day, which I guess isn't really that far for some of you, but for us with the kids, it's pretty far. And Ghost needs to eat more, so we give him a little bit more than we normally would. And obviously freeze-dried food is a lot lighter, and we don't want to put a whole lot of weight on him, and he carries all of his own food and all of his own gear. This is the snacks that we give him. This is freeze-dried beef liver from Costco. It says it's for dogs and cats, but it's super reasonably priced. So this is what we give him while we're hiking, and he absolutely loves it. I also use this on his food every day. I give him like 4 to 5 pieces, and I just crumble them up with my fingers, and I put them all over top of his kibble, because he's so picky, he doesn't really like his kibble, and I'm not going to get him like super fancy kibble. So I just put this on top, and he eats his kibble. Next piece of gear is his jacket. Does he really need a jacket? Nope. He's a Siberian Husky. He probably doesn't need anything. They are supposed to be able to withstand like minus 60 in Siberia. So this is just basically making me feel better. This is just a rain jacket. Has absolutely no insulation. It just keeps him a little bit drier because he's wearing his pack. He can't really shake the water off as much as he normally does. So if it's cold and it's raining, I put this on. This is a Ruffwear rain jacket, and I absolutely love this thing. It is fully waterproof, fully seam sealed. You can see the top is kind of all one piece, so it doesn't really have any seams, and it doesn't chafe him. It just goes underneath and snaps in, and it works perfectly underneath his pack and his harness. Inside his pack, we carry an extra leash just in case. Like I said, he's a puller. If for some weird reason something snapped on the hardware on the leash, I have to have a spare. This one is not a bungee leash. I prefer bungee leashes, but this is Ruffwear's ultralight leash. It's got a little tiny pocket here for some poop bags if you want to use it around town or whatever. It's got all metal gear, and it's very, very light, so I just throw this in his pack as an extra. The leash that I use to tether Ghost when we're sleeping or when we're just lying around by the fire and not paying all that much attention to him is this one. This is a metal leash, and I got this off of, I believe it was Etsy. I'll have to take another look, but I'll put a gear link to everything down below this video, of course, so that you can pick any of this gear up on your own if you'd like. But this is metal. It's not thick metal, so he can chew through it, but it would take him a really long time. But he's a chewer, and he chews through anything really fast. Like this leash here, probably take him a minute to chew through. So when I'm not paying attention to him 100%, this is what goes around his neck. And it's got metal hardware on the end, and it's got a nice loop here. This is also what I use on the next piece of gear, which I'm going to bring up here, which is the Ruffwear Not a Hitch. This is pretty heavy for backpacking, and I don't like to bring it, but I do have to bring it now because the piece of gear that I was using from Ruffwear broke. So this is my Not a Hitch, and I string it between 2 trees, and it's great. This just goes right on the lead that goes between the 2 trees, and Ghost can run between 2 trees, and it's pretty long. Let's see how long it is. It's 28.5 feet long. On shorter backpacks I would take this, but on long ones where I have to bring a lot of food for Ghost, like a 6-day, this won't fit. I was using this Hitch Hiker leash, and this Hitch Hiker leash goes around my waist, and I found it really comfortable, even though it didn't have a whole lot of padding, just a bit of padding. And this fit really nicely under the belt for my backpack. And inside it's got some rope that goes between 2 trees. And this dog leash fits really nicely on it to slide along it between the 2 trees. And I was really happy with this until the last trip. And the end that ties to the dog is not supposed to pull out of this kind of a climbing type system. The dog's supposed to be able to pull on it, and it doesn't pull out, but as you can see, it's starting to pull out. For some reason, it's lost its ability to hold the leash in. It was working out really great because I didn't have to take an extra system. Unfortunately, now I'm gonna have to take the Not a Hitch, which is a lot heavier. It's like 14.7 ounces. And Ghost has to carry this in his pack. I have to contact Ruffwear and see if they will give me a new one of these, or if they've got something better now. Maybe they fixed the hardware because they've had the problem before, but we'll see. I'll contact Ruffwear and see if there's any type of warranty for this. Because this hasn't worked out for me, I bought this, which is a Kurgo hands-free belt, and this has worked out quite well for me. It fits nicely underneath my belt for my backpack as well. For normal people that don't have pulling dogs, this would go in front, but because my dog pulls, I have the little leash hook in the front, and it's really tough hardware that the leash just slides into, and this has worked out really well for me on backpacking trips. I was using my running joring harness that I have for running that goes down around your bottom of your bum so that when the dog pulls, it doesn't pull on your back. But the problem is that it's got leg loops on it, and I found it really hard to go to the bathroom quickly when I was backpacking. So I found that this works really well because it doesn't have any loops on it. It may not be quite as comfortable for my back with him pulling, but on the downhills, I've been putting the leash on his neck, which keeps him from pulling as hard as he does on his harness. That brings me to the next piece of gear, which is his collar. And I would love to show it to you if you would come over here. Ghost, come here! Like I said, he's like my shadow, and I can go absolutely nowhere without him, even to make these videos. So you see how much he loves these treats. There you go, buddy. This is Ghost collar. It's also from Ruffwear, and because he's a husky, huskies are very tricky, and they're like little Houdinis, and they can get out of just about anything. So you have to have a choke collar for them. And this is a Ruffwear collar, and it's got a partial choke that's fabric on here. I don't really like the chain chokes, especially for backpacking when he's pulling a little bit. So this has got a small fabric choke, and it's got some really nice hardware on here that's also really, it's metal and it's really beefy. So he can't get out of this collar no matter how hard he tries. And it's also got a silencer on the little carabiner thing that you put the ID on. And the silencer is really nice. You don't have to hear the click, click, click. So what is this collar called? Web Reaction Martingale collar. Wow, that's a mouthful. Next piece of gear that I really love using when we're backpacking is this non-stop dog wear fully elastic leash. These things are made for dog drawing and bike drawing. They come in a 2-meter length and a 2.5 meter length. Absolutely adore this thing. This is a new one because I've had one since 2017, and the hardware on the front where I hooked a Ghost finally snapped. But I mean, that's pretty durable for using with a husky if it took that long to snap. And this just hooks right onto this hardware here that goes around my waist. And because it's fully elastic, it keeps me from getting whiplash, which my dog likes to do a lot. He likes to go run over this way and look at a marmot, and run over this way and look at a pika, and stop for a minute and sniff another dog's whatever on the ground, and then he'll go really fast and snap me. So that's the perfect leash for that. Next items I love are the Ruffwear lightweight dog bowl. This is kind of made for running, and it's super light. It's a little bit small, but it's perfect for his water on the go. And it goes into this little tiny pocket, which is kind of hard to get it into, to be honest. So I never use this pocket. I just squish it down, throw it in his pack. And the next dog bowl, which is amazing, is the Chicken Tramper dog bowl. And this thing, as you can see, flips down and snaps. So you can put kibble in here, oops, which there is. There's a little bit of kibble in here, as you can see. And in case he doesn't eat all of it, you don't have to put the kibble back in the bag that you have. You just put it in here, fold it over, and it snaps closed. And this is made with ultralight backpacking material, and it's also super light. The next item we carry for Ghost are these shoes. We got these off of Amazon, and they are canine equipment shoes. And the Ruffwear shoes I love too, but they're a lot more expensive. And the Ruffwear shoes you have to buy in pairs. So you have to buy 2 for the front and 2 for the back, and they're double the amount of the price of these canine shoes on Amazon. And these come in packs of 4, and they actually give you 1 size down for the back paws, because the back paws are always a little bit smaller than the front paws, which is really convenient. And these are seamless inside, and they're really soft inside. It's almost like a brushed fleece inside, not like really thin, so you can use these in the summertime. for ghosts, they're fantastic for using when we're in the desert and the rock is hot, or if we're on top of a ridge or something and the rock is really sharp. These are perfect. They're also great for keeping balls out of his feet if the snow is just that perfect wet temperature when balls happen, ice balls between the dog's toes. These are great for that too. The other thing we have is just Ziploc bags for dog food. I put all the small Ziploc bags, I put one Ziploc freezer bag per day for his food. And I put those Ziploc freezer bags inside of another freezer bag, and this just keeps it from smelling so much and also keeps my hands a lot cleaner because I can just open up the freezer bag, pour it in, drop it back in the bag, zip it up. And having them portioned out per day is really, really handy. And I actually reuse all of my Ziploc freezer bags kind of for the whole summer. And then I'll get a new set for the next summer because I feel really bad about, you know, using new Ziploc freezer bags every time we go out. It's handy to have it all just one day in one bag, and that way you don't have to worry about getting your hands dirty and portioning everything while you're out there. And Ziploc bags are so light. They weigh basically nothing. His whole pack with everything in it only come to about 7 or 8 pounds, and you're only supposed to have, I think it's like 10 to 15% of your dog's weight on their back. So I try and keep it lower than that. Last two items I have are the Fido Pro Airlift. When I'm going for like 6 days, I'll actually carry this because this won't fit in Ghost bag. If I'm only going for 2 days or 3 days, this fits perfectly in his backpack. But this is the size of about 2 days worth of food. So after 2 days of food come out, then this will go in his pack. But this is just a emergency harness, and I'll put a link to it below, of course, and a photo of it on the screen. This is an emergency dog harness that I can use to throw around my shoulders as a backpack, and it goes around his body, and it allows me to carry him like a backpack just in case something happened to him. This is just my common sense item that just makes me feel better. I've never used it. I hope I never ever have to use it, but it's with me just in case. Last item is Ghost dog bed. I was using the Ruffwear bed, but the Ruffwear bed is made so that the large bed fits in the large pack and the medium bed fits in the medium pack. And I just found that the medium lightweight bed from Ruffwear didn't fit Ghost body well enough. He's got a big body, but he's really slim and trim, and he only weighs 55 pounds. I think it's like 58 pounds to be exact. He's long, but he's skinny. So he can only use the medium pack, not the large pack. And I was always strapping the large Ruffwear bed onto the outside of his pack, and it just didn't work that well. The leash was always getting hooked on it and everything. So I gave up on it and I made my own. This is just, I think it's VX10 backpack material that people make backpacks out of. I got it from Hammock Gear. You know that stuff that you put in car windows to keep your car from getting too hot in the summertime? It's got aluminum foil, which reflects the heat back to the dog's body. And it's also got a very thin layer of foam. And I just sandwiched one of those in between this, and I just closed off the edges with some of the fabric. I haven't seam sealed this yet, so it's not 100% waterproof, but pretty much. And it's quite large. It's big enough for his whole body to get on. He likes to curl up in a ball. And it also fits in his tent. And it's just got enough cushion that it's just keeps a little bit of the rocks from coming through to his body. Just gives him a tiny bit of comfort. It gives him a tiny bit of warmth. Even though he's a husky, he really doesn't need it. Makes me feel better. And it's also nice if I'm going to be putting him inside the vestibule without the tent, because if it's raining outside, it just keeps the bottom of his fur and his body from getting wet and muddy. I did have a backpacking trip where I went with another friend. We were both in the same tent, and so Ghost had to be in the vestibule, and it rained one night and the water was coming in under the tent and he was getting wet, and I finally had to bring him into the tent and just lie him on top of my backpack to keep him from putting his claws through our sleeping pads. And I was just really wishing for something like this, and I didn't have anything, so I made one myself. And this fits inside his backpack with everything else. As you can see, it goes pretty small. That's it for our favorite dog backpacking gear. I'm gonna make another video on the rest of the gear that we use for our dog. Things like, you know, the harness that we tie him down to that's crash tested inside the car, and the gear that we used for bike drawing and ski drawing with him. So make sure that you subscribe. That way you can get the rest of the videos. Every time a video comes up, if you're subscribed, you'll get notified. And please click that like button. It really helps our channel. Appreciate it, and see you in the next video.